I'm an attorney. I break down celebrity cases on social media and YouTube at Girl, Is That Legal? That's my channel.
Girl, is that legal?
Girl, Is That
follows
Legal?
this girl. I've seen you on other people's channel, and I was like, when I saw you, I was like, she probably ain't gonna talk to me, but I'm glad
No,
you're here.
yeah, sure.
So down to earth.
Thank you.
Today, based on Eric's testimony about Diddy, and I asked him this earlier too, about Diddy paying them $100,000, and the fact that he actually signed a non-disclosure agreement saying that he would not disclose that, not even to law enforcement without first talking to them. How would that play out for him?
So it doesn't, and I wish that the prosecution had done a better job of making that clear. That's what's called an illegal contract. In fact, what I would have did if that was my brother who came to me and was like, hey, I'm security here, I would say, baby, let's go get this money. We're going to get that $100,000. Then we're going to sell it to TMZ for another $100,000, and there's literally nothing that can be done. A non-disclosure agreement for an illegal act, it was a beat down, is an illegal agreement. So literally, if Diddy were to go to court and sue you for releasing that, a judge would kick it out of court.
Wow.
Because it's a matter of public concern.
Right.
For the same reason that, like, it is not a crime. Like, even in states where both two parties have to consent to a recording, if they're recording a crime, you don't need consent.
Right. My friend Maisha Sheikh she was sued by Kevin Hart recently because of a similar type of non-disclosure agreement, and he sued her. So with that said, and you saying that that's an illegal agreement, are you aware that that's the standard agreement in Hollywood?
So it is the standard agreement, but that's because it's not supposed to be applied to crimes. It's supposed to be applied to relationships. So, like, if you're my personal assistant, I want to be able to know that once you leave, you're not going to tell them my business. You know, if I got some creams or itch or whatever, you're not going to tell everybody that. But it's not supposed to be used when you see me bribe someone, when you see me see my boyfriend beat the crap out of somebody, or if you saw like a drug dealer or even a kidnapping. Like, a non-disclosure isn't that. But what we have heard throughout the trial is multiple staff members of Diddy all thought that their non-disclosure agreement would actually preclude them from telling the police or telling other people about the different crimes they say allegedly they experienced.
That is absolutely true. So with that said, and obviously you and I probably would have did a better job than the prosecutor, but do you feel like they've established that bribery act actually took place and that could be considered a predicate act of RICO?
Yeah, they have, because what's going to happen is bribery is in the ask. When the jury receives jury instructions, it's very, very specific, and it's going to be like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When they're really good, it'll say, if you vote yes to this, then, like, one of the questions for bribery could be, did Diddy or a staff member offer money in exchange for the destruction of the tape? Yes or no?
Wow.
If yes.
So hold up. The reason why I believe you're incorrect, and I'm not a lawyer, but I got the mic now. I'm not a lawyer, but I looked up the statute for bribery, and if it's to an elected official or if it's in interrupting an investigation, an ongoing police investigation or investigation by the law. There were no police called. There was no investigation. So
you're saying you can't bribe anybody?
Yeah, I'm saying if I'm going and walking down the hallway, and I'm a celebrity, and I got to go to the bathroom real quick, and I piss my pants.
Okay.
And I go to the hotel and I say, yo, give me that video because I don't want this video getting out of me pissing my pants. It's embarrassing. It's going to destroy my image. I'm not, and they say, give me 50,000 for it, or I'll give you 50,000 for it. I'm not bribing them because there's no police investigation
but see,
that I'm interrupting.
That's not why you're not bribing.
Yeah.
You're correct, you're not bribing him, but you're not bribing him because that's not a crime.
Right.
I'm not bribing because it's a bribery. The whole point of a bribery is to hinder the police from giving you trouble.
So I think
according to the NDA, that's
not
what he was trying to do. According to the NDA, it literally says, it's highlighted in the NDA in the clause. It says, this is because Mr. Combs' image is very important to him, and this is to protect his image. Basically, that's what it says in the NDA. That was the whole point.
As it should, because no NDA is going to say this is so that he doesn't go to prison.
And the NDA also
said, reasonable minds.
Yes, but the NDA also says, highlighting the NDA, you can, in the exclusions clause, it says, tell anybody about this if you're asked by the court or asked by a person of law enforcement or anything. Yes, you could go ahead to give the information because you can't hold that information from them. So It's not a bribe. That's what I'm trying to say. Just because you exchange money
It's
for
not
them
a
to
bribe
help your image.
because what I heard you say before is not a bribe because there wasn't a criminal investigation.
Exactly. There was
So-
not a criminal
So
So
investigation.
that's another reason why you're
criminal
incorrect.
investigation.
No, it wasn't.
Hold on. That's another reason why you're incorrect. Because the way in which the tape was made to disappear, she has until the statute of limitations to go to the police and say, this man whooped my tail. What he did is he destroyed the tape and it did not reappear until after the statute of limitations, effectively eliminating any chance that she could get any criminal relief for the domestic violence. So we're saying the same thing. I think we're just looking at different time windows.
Absolutely, because that's still not it. She didn't try. If she tried to go and file a police report, and then he had bought the tape, then it would have interfered with the criminal investigation. And yes, you're
There
right.
doesn't
But
have
you're
to
talking
be-
about a hypothetical
so
situation.
I disagree with the
Yeah,
definition,
I got you.
but there doesn't have to be an active. That's not true. It doesn't have to be an active criminal investigation. But what it does have to be is it has to be potentially evidence in a criminal process.
And one last question, if you don't mind. I know. Okay, cool. Don't be giving me back my.
But the thing is, at the end of the day, somebody like him is going to be on the jury, and so your thought process, your logic is what they have to speak
And
to.
it's going to come back to the jury instructions from the judge.
Okay, you know what? I'm going to look at the jury instructions and we'll revisit this particular thing later. So, in relation to the RICO, now that you say that there's plausible allegations, facts, evidence to provide proof that there was a bribery that occurred, kidnapping is also a predicate act of RICO, just based on the situation with Cassie in that hotel alone, all arising from that same date. They would have two predicate acts, right?
They do, but not the kidnapping. The second one is tampering with witnesses. The same guy who made the tape go away was a witness. They tampered with him by giving him the money. They tampered with him by giving the money. So those would be two, and therefore they satisfy RICO. It would not be the kidnapping because the kidnapping happened in California. Under California law, I know it sounds crazy, but he didn't drag Cassie far enough.
But so because it's in California, it had to operate under California state law.
Yeah, California law, that would be closer to false imprisonment,
Right,
because
right.
in California you have to move someone a substantial distance, and arguably that wouldn't happen if it had been kidnapping in California.
The
DA's
indictment
office
also said in attempted kidnapping was also
that was oh girl, that was Capricorn Clark.
And speaking of that,
But I just wanted to say that no, the DA's office, when the tape was first leaked, the California DA's office said, I'm sorry, but the statute of limitations had expired. Kidnapping in California, the statute of limitations was not expired. It either doesn't have one or it's like over 10 years. Either way, that's how I knew that couldn't be qualified as kidnapping.
One last question, I promise you.
No, that's fine.
Malino witnesses, like Harvey Weinstein is across the street for the Malino witnesses. The statute of limitation in RICO is 10 years. Are we right or wrong?
I think that sounds right.
Right.
I'll be honest. I don't
And
know.
so Capricorn Clark is testifying saying Diddy kidnapped her. Cassie's mother said Diddy extorted her. He blew up Kid Cudi's car. All of that stuff happened before 2014. And based upon the indictment, it was March the 7th, 2024. So they couldn't go further in the past.
They
right?
can, because for RICO it just needs to be two events that happen within 10 years
It's
of
a window.
each other.
Yeah, it's a window.
Yeah, so that's how they're looking
It's
at
10 years of each other.
Of each other.
It's not 10
really?
years. It's a window of the crimes. Yeah.
So you mean to tell me, okay, so if I commit this RICO and before the 10 years up, I commit another one, and then it's a total of 18 years later, you can get me on both of those?
I'm not really sure about that math. I just know in this instance, that's how come they're able
Yes,
to do it.
that's logically true. But again, I think that people, and you're a lawyer, so you probably know, people think that there's only one element of RICO that has
You're
to be
right.
proven, and that's that two predicate acts were committed. It's RICO. Within 10 years apart, it's RICO. That it's not organized crime. That element of organized crime has to be given, and the element of forwarding the goal of the enterprise has to be given. What's the enterprise?
It's not.
What's
It's
the
not
goal of the
forwarding the
enterprise?
goal of the enterprise. That's incorrect.
Benefiting. That's why they ask those questions. That's why today in court.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Trying to get another challenge. Come back
I
now.
just disagree.
I love both of you guys.
I like your point too.
No, it's just it's that they are working together for a common agreed goal, and they're
What's the
working for
difference
that
between
goal.
that and forwarding the goal?
No, you said that they're doing. You phrased it differently with respect to the enterprise.
My question.
You said it was regarding the
my
enterprise.
question
and
is, what is the goal?
The goal is to protect Diddy's
Is to
brand and
protect-
keep Diddy
right.
happy.
See,
Right.
that's
Remember?
Right.
Go ahead.
yeah. So that's if it's protect your brand. There's a very, very, very big flaw in that. Keep you happy. That's not a goal. That's too broad of a goal. But to protect your brand,
It can be a goal under the
okay.
law, though.
Yeah.
All right.
The
To
goal
protect-
can be keep Diddy
to-
happy.
to pro-
They said Diddy
to
was
pro-
king.
To
et cetera.
protect your brand, tell me exactly. Like, you got people quitting
Easy.
because
So the way you protect your brand by making that tape go away is you prevent what he's got now, which is nothing. He had to
Right.
leave every sponsorship. He would have lost Diageo, lost.
We're
That's
talking
why you got to
about-
make that tape
We're
go
talking
away.
about the
Absolutely.
predicate
All right.
acts.
That's
the
one of the predicate acts.
Yes, I
that was
understand,
why he did
but we
the
don't hear.
bribery.
I
That's why he
understand, but what I'm
tampered with
asking
the
Right.
women.
is
Right. The but for causation.
All right.
The but for causation is like the MO, the modus operandi is to protect his brand, which thus protects his revenue, his family,
Using
his
the
legacy.
two predicate acts. I understand, but what I'm saying is, first, for example, arson. You got to actually really believe that's him and he did that. You actually have. You can't just say, yeah, he
Then the
probably
police
did.
said it was Diddy car outside of the house.
No,
But
you.
I think because we disagree that it could be keep Diddy happy, make Diddy king can be agreed gold, literally, and because that was
And
the
everyone
goal,
has testified
that's why
to
the
that.
But
arson.
that's not an
why there was
enter.
kidnapping.
Okay.
it's-
That's why we.
So,
I
yeah, that's why we
Enterprise-
didn't.
Enterprise in one of the
An
cases,
organization, yeah.
Enterprise was actually a basketball team. So I think that gives better context. That people think it has
An
to be a
enter-
business.
no, an enterprise was even a school board in one of the
Right,
in one of
here,
the cases. It was
There
even
you
a
go.
school
Can you look
board.
at the camera and tell
Okay.
them your channel? And
Hey guys, I'm your legal bestie, Attorney Simone. My channel on YouTube is called Girl, Is That Legal? Head on over and hit subscribe. Thank you guys. I enjoyed
you.
the respectful discourse.
I
Thank
did.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can I get-
Absolutely.
Yes.
Shout out.